I've had some back issues, so I don't like loading my back up with heavy weights to gain strength and explosiveness, and that's when the flywheel training come in for me, and it's super important. My trainer back home in Sweden used to work for Exxentric, and he introduced me to the flywheel back then, and I kind of been obsessed with it since. It's just been something that felt natural for my training. The most important part for me has been the eccentric phase and the stability of my knees in general. It's very common, similar to what I do on the ice, with a lot of changes of directions where I have to be able to generate power from side to side, and it's a lot of eccentric phases involved with that. Explosive training, I would say the low impact part of it is the most beneficial part. You can do explosive stuff with the flywheel without getting the impact on the knees or heavy weights that you have to put on your back. So that's probably the most beneficial part of it. For me personally, I would say, well, obviously injury prevention, but also, especially as I talked about before, the side-to-side movements where I'm pushing one side and then I have to de-accelerate to go the other way. And I feel like the flywheel training is exactly the same thing, where a lot of force is created to pull you back down and you have to like stop it and go the other direction. Well, the most common one we use is probably the regular squats. We do iso squats, Bulgarian split squats, both iso and regular. I would say the side squats, cross-X squats, I don't know exactly the name, but that's kind of what we do for most of it. And I feel like those are the ones that really benefit me. It's a low impact training device, and for me, I've had some back issues, so I don't like loading my back up with heavy weights to gain strength and explosiveness, and that's when the flywheel training come in for me, and it's super important. It also obviously stabilizes your knees, hips, and all that, and I feel like that's super important, especially for me. That last year when I blew up my MCLs, it's been a super important part in my rehab process. Absolutely. I think it's a really good complement for your training in the summers. As the other questions, the low impact from it, you can use it in season, off season, and it doesn't really matter when. Like, I feel like it can benefit you no matter what, and you don't have to worry about getting injured. Not so much the actual exercises. I would say the load is a little bit different, but we use all different kind of exercises, even before like game days in mornings to wake up the body. We could either do iso holds or just explosive squats. So I feel like you can use them whenever, and it's a great tool because we can always bring it on the road. It's so easy to get access to, so it's great. I do think it's a really good tool to use. I would recommend it for sure. I think it's super important that you take it slow when you start using it to get used to it, because it pulls you down, and the force you create up, you're gonna get the same force back down. So start slow and get used to it, and then from there you can increase the level of intensity.